Have you ever looked at your life and felt like, you're not lazy, you're not incapable, you're not broken, but somehow, you're still stuck? You wake up with plans. You tell yourself, today is the day I change. You imagine the better version of yourself, the one who works out, reads, builds discipline, saves money, starts the business, fixes their mind, stops wasting time. But then the day begins. One notification turns into 20 minutes. One short video turns into an hour. One excuse becomes the whole evening. And by the time your head hits the pillow, you feel that quiet pain again. Not dramatic pain. Not the kind you tell people about. The silent kind. The kind that whispers, you could have done more. And the most dangerous part is, tomorrow starts looking exactly like today. But what if rebuilding your entire life did not begin with a 5-year plan, a perfect routine, a new personality, or some huge dramatic transformation? What if it began with just 10 minutes? Not 10 hours. Not 10 months. Not a complete life reset. Just 10 focused minutes a day. Because sometimes, your life does not collapse all at once. It collapses quietly, in small ignored moments. And the same way, it can be rebuilt quietly, in small chosen moments. This is the 10-minute rule that can rebuild your entire life. And by the end of this video, you will understand why 10 minutes, used correctly, can become the first crack in the wall between who you are now, and who you were meant to become. Most people never change because they think change has to feel big. They think transformation has to begin on a Monday, in a new year, with a perfect routine, a clean room, a fresh notebook, and unstoppable motivation. But real change rarely begins like that. Real change begins in the middle of an ordinary day, when nobody is watching, when your mood is not perfect, when you do not feel ready, and you still decide to take one small action. That is the promise of the 10-minute rule. For just 10 minutes, you stop negotiating with your weakness. For just 10 minutes, you stop waiting to feel motivated. For just 10 minutes, you become the person you keep saying you want to be. And here is the secret most people miss. The goal is not to finish everything in 10 minutes. The goal is to prove to your mind that you can start. Because starting is where most dreams die. Not because people lack talent. Not because they lack potential. But because the mind has learned to fear effort, discomfort, boredom, and uncertainty. So today, we are not going to talk about changing your life with fantasy motivation. We are going to talk about something real. Something practical. Something you can do tonight, even if your life feels messy, even if your confidence is low, even if you have wasted years. Because 10 minutes is small enough that your excuses cannot defeat it, but powerful enough that your future cannot ignore it. Look closely at the modern day. Most people are not losing their lives in big disasters. They are losing them in tiny leaks. 5 minutes scrolling. 10 minutes comparing. 30 minutes overthinking. 1 hour avoiding the thing they know they should do. Then they say, I don't know where my time went. But deep down, they do know. It disappeared into distraction. Distraction is not just entertainment anymore. It has become a place people go to escape themselves. You feel anxious, so you scroll. You feel behind, so you watch other people's lives. You feel uncertain, so you look for another video, another opinion, another quick hit of comfort. And slowly, your attention, the most valuable thing you own, gets trained to obey everything except your goals. That is why you can watch videos for 3 hours, but struggle to read for 10 minutes. That is why you can respond to everyone instantly, but delay responding to your own future for years. That is why you can know exactly what you need to do, and still not do it. The problem is not that you have no time. The problem is that your time has no protection. The 10-minute rule protects it. It says, before the world gets access to me, before my distractions take over, before my emotions make decisions for me, I will give 10 minutes to the life I say I want. 10 minutes to work out. 10 minutes to study. 10 minutes to clean. 10 minutes to write. 10 minutes to pray, breathe, plan, think, build, learn, practice, apply. Just 10 minutes where you stop being available to chaos. And here is the first cliffhanger you need to hear. If you cannot control 10 minutes, you will struggle to control 10 years. Because your future is not built in the future. It is built in the tiny private moments you keep throwing away. Now let's talk about the comfort zone. Most people think the comfort zone feels peaceful. It does not. For many people, the comfort zone feels like anxiety with familiar furniture. It feels safe because you know it. But it does not mean it is good for you. You know the same routine. The same excuses. The same habits. The same emotional patterns. The same people. The same late-night regret. And because it is familiar, your brain starts calling it normal. But normal can be dangerous. Normal can be waking up tired every day. Normal can be pretending you are fine. Normal can be spending years around people who drain you. Normal can be avoiding difficult conversations, avoiding your body, avoiding your goals, avoiding your own reflection. Your comfort zone does not always hold you with chains. Sometimes it holds you with soft pillows. It tells you, rest a little longer. Start tomorrow. You've had a hard day. You're not ready yet. You need the perfect plan first. And the scariest part is that these excuses sound kind. They sound reasonable. They sound like self-care. But sometimes what you call self-care is actually self-avoidance wearing a softer voice. The 10-minute rule breaks that spell. Because 10 minutes is not dramatic enough for your comfort zone to panic. Your mind may resist a 2-hour workout. But 10 minutes? It can do that. Your mind may resist writing a full chapter. But 10 minutes of writing? It can do that. Your mind may resist changing your entire life. But 10 minutes of cleaning your room, reviewing your budget, practicing a skill, or walking outside? It can do that. And once you begin, something powerful happens. Your identity starts to shift. You stop being someone who never starts. You become someone who starts even when it is hard. That matters more than you think. Because discipline is not built by intense emotion. It is built by repeated proof. Every time you keep a small promise to yourself, your mind records evidence. I can trust myself. I do what I say. I am not helpless. I can move even when I do not feel ready. That evidence becomes confidence. Not fake confidence. Not loud confidence. Real confidence. The kind nobody can give you, and nobody can take from you. Now, let's go deeper. There is a kind of transformation that nobody claps for. It is silent. It happens when you stop explaining your goals to everyone and start living them. It happens when you no longer need the world to see your effort for it to matter. It happens when you realize the strongest version of you may be built in private first. Most people want visible success. They want the results, the body, the money, the confidence, the glow up, the respect. But they do not want the invisible phase. The lonely phase. The boring phase. The phase where nothing looks different yet, but everything inside you is changing. The 10-minute rule is designed for that phase. Because silent transformation does not ask you to impress anyone. It asks you to show up when there is no reward. 10 minutes of reading when nobody knows. 10 minutes of exercise when your body still looks the same. 10 minutes of learning when you still feel behind. 10 minutes of applying for better jobs when nobody is cheering. 10 minutes of sitting with your thoughts instead of running from them. These moments may look small from the outside. But inside, they are rewiring your relationship with yourself. And here is the second cliffhanger. The world usually notices your transformation last. You notice it first in the way you handle stress. In the way you stop reacting to everything. In the way you no longer need instant pleasure to survive a quiet moment. In the way you begin choosing your future over your mood. That is when your life begins to rebuild. Not when everyone sees it. When you become someone you respect in private. Now let's make this practical. How do you actually use the 10-minute rule? First, choose one area of your life that is causing the most quiet pain. Not 10 areas. Not your entire life. 1. Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is money. Maybe it is your mindset. Maybe it is your faith. Maybe it is your career. Maybe it is your environment. Maybe it is the dream you keep postponing because you are afraid to fail. Choose the area that makes you feel disappointed when you think about it at night. That is where the work begins. Second, choose one 10-minute action that is too small to argue with. If your health is the problem, do 10 minutes of walking, stretching, push-ups, or meal preparation. If your mind is the problem, do 10 minutes of journaling, breathing, or reading something that strengthens you. If your money is the problem, spend 10 minutes checking your spending, learning a skill, or planning one move forward. If your environment is the problem, clean one corner, one drawer, one table, one part of the room. If your dream is the problem, work on it for 10 minutes before you consume entertainment. The rule is simple: make the action small, clear, and repeatable. Because a complicated plan gives your excuses more places to hide. Third, attach the 10 minutes to something you already do. After brushing your teeth, write for 10 minutes. After your first coffee, walk for 10 minutes. Before opening social media, read for 10 minutes. After dinner, clean for 10 minutes. Before bed, plan tomorrow for 10 minutes. This matters because your brain loves patterns. When a new habit is connected to an old routine, it becomes easier to repeat. Fourth, do not judge the day by intensity. Judge it by whether you showed up. Some days, your 10 minutes will be powerful. Some days, they will feel weak. Some days, you will feel focused. Some days, your mind will fight you the entire time. That is fine. The goal is not perfection. The goal is continuity. A person who does 10 minutes every day for a year has given more than 60 hours to their future. 60 hours of focused effort can change a body. It can change a skill. It can change a mindset. It can change your relationship with money. It can change the way you see yourself. But more importantly, it destroys the belief that you are powerless. And that belief is often the real prison. Now let's add a mental exercise. Tonight, before you sleep, take a piece of paper and write this sentence. If I gave 10 focused minutes a day to one area of my life for the next 90 days, what would become impossible to ignore? Do not answer fast. Sit with it. Because your answer will reveal something. It will show you the part of your life that is asking for leadership. Maybe the answer is, my body would feel stronger. Maybe, my room would finally feel peaceful. Maybe, I would have started the business. Maybe, I would have finished the course. Maybe, I would trust myself again. That last one matters most. Because for many people, the real damage is not just wasted time. It is broken self-trust. You have promised yourself change so many times that part of you no longer believes you. So when you say, I'm going to change my life, your mind quietly replies, you said that before. The 10-minute rule rebuilds the trust slowly. Not with speeches. With evidence. 10 minutes today. 10 minutes tomorrow. 10 minutes when you are tired. 10 minutes when nobody notices. 10 minutes when the old version of you begs to quit. And one day, you look back and realize the 10 minutes were never just 10 minutes. They were a vote. A vote for the person you were becoming. A vote against the old pattern. A vote for discipline. A vote for self-respect. A vote for the future that almost slipped away. Think about any person you admire. An athlete. An artist. A writer. A leader. A successful business owner. A person who changed their body, their finances, their mind, or their entire direction. From the outside, people call it talent. They say, they got lucky. They are built different. They must have something I don't. But most of the time, what you are seeing is not one huge moment. You are seeing thousands of small private moments stacked together. The athlete trained when nobody was filming. The writer wrote when nobody was reading. The entrepreneur worked when nobody believed. The student studied when nobody praised them. The person who healed sat with pain instead of escaping it. Silent success is usually boring before it becomes beautiful. That is why most people miss it. They quit because the beginning does not feel like the dream. But the beginning is not supposed to feel like the dream. The beginning is supposed to feel like resistance. That resistance is the entrance fee. And the 10-minute rule helps you pay it daily without overwhelming your mind. Psychologically, this works because small actions reduce fear. When a task feels too large, your brain sees it as a threat. It starts searching for escape. You procrastinate, not always because you are lazy, but because your mind wants relief. But when the action is only 10 minutes, the threat feels smaller. You lower the resistance. You create momentum. And once momentum begins, motivation often follows. This is why waiting for motivation is dangerous. Motivation usually does not arrive before action. It often arrives after action has already begun. You do not feel like walking, but after 10 minutes, your body wakes up. You do not feel like writing, but after 10 minutes, your thoughts start moving. You do not feel like cleaning, but after 10 minutes, the room feels lighter. You do not feel like studying, but after 10 minutes, your confidence rises. Action changes emotion. Not always instantly. Not magically. But reliably enough that your life cannot stay the same if you keep repeating it. So here is the recap. Your life is not rebuilt by wishing. It is rebuilt by attention. Where your attention goes, your life grows. If your attention goes to distractions, comparison, excuses, and comfort, that is what expands. But if your attention goes to discipline, health, learning, peace, skill, faith, focus, and courage even for 10 minutes a day, your life begins to grow in a new direction. The 10-minute rule works because it is small enough to start, simple enough to repeat, and powerful enough to change your identity. It teaches your brain that effort is not danger. It teaches your body that movement is possible. It teaches your mind that focus can be trained. It teaches your future that you have not abandoned it. And it teaches your soul something even deeper. You are not stuck because you lack potential. You are stuck because your potential has been waiting for a pattern. 10 minutes can become that pattern. Now here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, choose one thing. Only one. Do not announce it. Do not overplan it. Do not wait for the perfect mood. Just choose one 10-minute action and do it every day. 10 minutes of walking. 10 minutes of reading. 10 minutes of prayer. 10 minutes of writing. 10 minutes of studying. 10 minutes of cleaning. 10 minutes of building the thing you keep saying matters. And when the 10 minutes are done, stop if you want. But do not skip the 10. Because the person you become is not shaped only by what you do when life is easy. You are shaped by what you do when the old version of you tries to return. There will be a moment tomorrow when your mind says, "Not today." That moment is the test. Not the whole day. Not the whole year. Just that moment. And in that moment, you do not need to feel brave. You do not need to feel inspired. You only need to begin. For 10 minutes. That is how you rebuild. Quietly. Honestly. Repeatedly. And one day, someone will look at you and say, "You've changed." But you will know the truth. You did not change in one dramatic moment. You changed in the 10 minutes nobody saw. So start tonight. Before the next video. Before the next excuse. Before another week disappears. Give 10 minutes to the life that has been waiting for you. Because your future does not need a perfect version of you. It needs a present version of you who is finally willing to begin. And remember this. A life is not rebuilt by one huge decision, it is rebuilt by 10 honest minutes you refuse to waste.